Here for the long haul.
Check. Testing. Okay. Now talking to it.
Okay. Test, test, test.
Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
Yours ain't working.
It shows me right here. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2.
Test, test.
Test, test.
Is everybody else at work?
I believe so. I don't know why
Test, test.
that one shows a green collar on it for some reason. If it's an indication something or what.
Okay, calling the Vernon County Commissioners Court to order. It's 9 o'clock. Want to thank everybody for coming. We'll get started with our agenda. First, we'll ask for an invocation from Ronnie Brooks to come forward and lead us in prayer, please. Everybody join me, please. That's right.
Our God in heaven, we thank you so much for this day. Father, we thank you that you blessed us with another day to live. We pray that this day will be used to serve you. Father, now especially we pray that you'll be with this meeting, that you'll be with the ones that lead it, Father, that they will do the things that are necessary to help this county. Father, you'll be with those of us that are listening, a part of it, that we would do our best to try to make this county the best there can be. Father, we thank you for being our God. We pray that each day we will serve you. Father, we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Join me in pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag, please. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Judge, I ask that you say the date for the...
Okay. Yes, thank you. Today is, what is today? The 13th of May, 2025.
You're muted.
Today is May 13th, 2025. It was on there, but it was really small. I'm going to have to get that bigger in the future. All right. First, go ahead and open the floor for public comments that are not related to agenda item. Are there any public comments to issues not listed on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move forward. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you over there.
Charlie Parker. I'll start my comments today with a question. I asked the court and the taxpayers of Burnett County the following. Does anyone see any evidence of even the smallest attempt by the members of this court to pay off the debt or reduce the debt burden on the taxpayers of Burnett County? Burnett County is over $30 million in debt. In fiscal year 2024, Burnett County spent $9.6 million more than the county took in. This is $2.7 million higher than in fiscal year 2023. In September 2024, the court voted to borrow an additional $5 million on a short-term bond. In early 2025, almost $900,000 was spent on new electronic voting machines. From 2017 until 2023, an average of almost $14,000 a year was spent on employee appreciation parties. The grand total spent over those years was $99,400. In 2023, $38,000 was paid to Evergreen Consulting for a wage survey to justify large pay increases that the commissioners voted in for themselves in 2024. Disgraced former County Judge James Oakley was suspended in March of 2023 for 6 months, but was paid his back wages of over $50,000 when he returned. In addition, the Commissioner's Court had an order ready to pay him $132,000 for his personal legal expenses. In September 2023, the court contracted with Baker Tilly for a forensic audit that cost $21,200. The audit became an investigation and then a report, a very small stack of paper and complete waste of almost a year of time and county resources. The Burnett County Court paid over $48,000 to Placer Labs, $23,500 in 2024, $24,675 in 2025, under the guise of marketing, but in actuality it is geofencing or spying on the unknowing public while they enjoyed 4 days at the Bluebonnet Festival. On top of all this, Burnett County is one of only 10 counties out of 254 in Texas that provide county-owned vehicles for the county judge and the 4 county commissioners. This includes insurance, gas cards, and all the maintenance costs. I object to the fact that this court has so irresponsibly borrowed and frivolously spent the taxpayers' hard-earned money over several years. All of this documented information shows a clear lack of concern and lack of responsibility in how this court handles money that is not their money. You 5 individuals have proven that you are incapable of behaving as fiscally responsible adults and cannot be trusted with the taxpayers' money. Thank you.
Good morning. Burnett County resident, taxpayer. I moved out here in 15. And
Did you state your name? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mike Runyon, sorry. Moved out here in 2015. I really thought I arrived on a great square, and for a lot of reasons it is. We had responsive commissioners. You could call them up, they'd call you right back, whatever. We've got a great sheriff office, down-to-earth people, but I'm really disappointed. Never mind all the fiasco that went on last year and all that selection shenanigans. The voting machines, the information's out there. Captain Seth Kushel, former U.S. Army, William Doherty, Texas A&M head of computer science professor, retired, have proven that there's a way, not you guys, not Doug, but they can scam those things. You have volunteers that want to help hand count. And then the geofencing sounds real warm and fuzzy. But when somebody unknowingly, they're pulling your information off your phone when you're just out here with your family to enjoy the Bluebonnet Festival and who knows what else you've got this thing hooked up at for $20,000 a year, I'm disappointed. And that's all I can say. But save your time asking me for your vote next time. It won't be coming.
All right, anybody else? Okay, then I'll call, I'm going to go ahead and call number 5 next, please. Just want to do kind of an honor of passing away of a recent Sheriff William T. Smith, Burnett County. I'm going to go ahead and read this into the record, please. He was born in San Antonio, Texas on November 19, 1940. W.T. Smith was elected Sheriff of Burnett County from January 1st, 2009 to December 31st, 2026. I'm sorry, that's not correct, but I'll fix that in a minute. I believe it was 2016. That's what happens when I'm like the anchor man. I just read what's in front of me, so I'll do better. Sorry. He began his career in law enforcement with the San Antonio Police Department in 1968, serving in patrol, criminal intelligence, and Homeland Homicide Division. WT worked in every position in law enforcement, from patrol officer to chief deputy. He was a certified instructor, a master peace officer, and a master jailer. He received numerous awards throughout his career. During 46 years and 8 months of law enforcement, he has obtained 5,882 training hours with the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Standards and Education. He was a graduate of Southwestern Texas State University and a Bachelor of Science in Law Enforcement. Sheriff Smith was involved in many high-profile cases, one of which resulted in the closure of the Christ of the Hills Monastery and the arrest of 5 monks for sexual assault of children. Sheriff Smith was a graduate of the FBI National Academy Session 186. He served on numerous boards and committees in his professional and personal capacity. He was also a licensed Baptist minister. W.T. and wife Eileen, who was a librarian, lived in Burnett County, Texas. They had 3 daughters and several grandchildren. Sheriff Smith served in the U.S. Army from March 1966 to February 1968. During his service, he served with the 8th Logistical Command in Europe from 1966 to 67, and from 67 to 68, he served with the 25th Infantry Division in Cu Chi, Vietnam. The awards and decorations that were received are as follows: National Defense Service Medal, Good Conduct Medal, Vietnam Service Medal 2, Overseas Service Stars, Vietnam Expeditionary Force Medal, and a Bronze Star. We appreciate Sheriff Smith and his dedication to law enforcement, his country, his family. We appreciate what he's done. If you don't mind, I've asked Sheriff Calvin Boyd to come forward and just say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for recognizing Sheriff Smith this morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak. He was a good man. And, you know, you always hear that when someone passes, but I don't think anybody would argue the fact that he was a good man. And he had a great career in law enforcement, but what always impressed me most about WT is he always had his priorities straight. I mean, he walked with Jesus and was never ashamed or shy to tell you. He loved his family, loved his wife, Eileen, was always bragging on his kids about their accomplishments. So we had that in order, and then came the job, which he did very well. He started out in San Antonio, as you read, as a patrol officer, worked up to homicide division in San Antonio, Texas. Probably wasn't a lot of downtime there. It's a pretty busy town, pretty rough town, and especially when he was down there. And I'm not sure exactly when he showed up here in Burnett County, but I know when he did. I was a highway patrol here in Burnett County, and we hit it off right away. We were pretty good friends. We became friends, and he used to come out on Friday or Saturday night and ride with me when I was on shift, and sometimes Friday and Saturday night. And that's after working all day at the sheriff's office. But he really enjoyed that. And I think part of it was probably the car. I don't know if a lot of you may not know, WT was kind of an adrenaline junkie, and riding in the passenger seat of a black and white Mustang is pretty exciting a lot of times. So. But we had some good times. It's like everything else, you know, you don't realize how special those times were until now, but it was special. You know, in your memory, you know, through time, you lose a lot of things that you did, but some of those shifts I remember like they were last weekend. It was a great time to be here, and WT was so much fun, and we had a good time. He you know, not everybody at the end of their career gets to be sheriff. And I'll readily admit that not everybody wants to be sheriff, but at the end of their career. But a lot of people do. And there's a few that do that. And it's a big deal, you know, to stand up in your community and tell the citizens and raise your hand and say, hey, I want to do everything I can to make you safe. And for them to turn around and elect you and trust you to do that's a big deal. Not to mention the legacy, the history of being a Texas sheriff is pretty special. And he wore that well. He took it serious. I know many times I was a justice peace when he was sheriff, and I would find myself in his office or he'd find himself in my office, and we would talk over things going on in the county. So I know that he took it very serious, being your sheriff, and if probably not for some medical issues, I might have never got the chance to become sheriff because I'm not sure he was really ready to step down. But anyway, I appreciate y'all representing the sheriff today. And he was a good Christian, a good family man, and a great career. So at the end of that, all you can say is, WT, well done.
Thank you, Sheriff. And Brandy, our condolences go out to you and your family. Tell your mom for us, please, and just how much we appreciated the service that he gave this community. And just thank you. So thank you for being here. Okay. We'll go ahead and move on back to item number 4. Thank you for doing that. And I did want to say that we lowered the flags last week when we heard about the news about Sheriff Smith and lowered the flags half-mast. And then just for everybody's information, this week we're lowering all the courthouse flags half-mast for Peace Officer Memorial Week. It's been in place since 1962 to honor our fallen officers throughout the United States and Texas. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I might have to take a recess. I lost one of my deputies right before, about 2.5 years ago. So I just, give me a minute. So. Okay. The next item on the agenda, presentation and discussion of the Hill Country Alliance relating to proposed covenants and restrictions for new subdivisions related to landscaping, water use, and other subdivision-related topics. And we have a presenter. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Nice to meet you all. My name is Karen Brewitt. Many of you know me. I've been around for a while. Marisa Bruno is with the Hill Country Alliance, and she's going to handle the bulk of the presentation. But just as a little bit of background, I've been out here for about 30 years. My husband and I built a lake house and enjoyed lots of summers on Lake Travis. I was telling somebody that the other day, and they looked at the lake and they're like, where? What lake? But I've had the pleasure of living out here and being involved in the community for a long time. And I also want to thank you all for your service. It's not an easy job. You're in the public eye, and I think you all do a wonderful job, and I am forever grateful for the service that you provide to the community. I'm a commissioner for Burnett County ESD 9. I've served on that board for the last 10 years. I've served on our HOA for 10 years. I served on the board of the Central Texas Water Coalition for about 5 years, and now I serve on the board of the Hill Country Alliance. 2 little pieces of information. I was here in 2011 when our subdivision had the notorious honor of being the first community in Texas to run out of water. We lived through that. We've ended up pulling from Lake Travis. We also lived through the fires that happened during that time. That was a previous drought of record. We believe that right now we're kind of approaching the new drought of record. And we know that we can't slow down development. We know that we can't stop development. We know that people need water. And so I think that the onus is on all of us to figure out, well, how do we do this intelligently? What are some simple steps that we can take to protect this hill country land and the hill country water resources that we love? And so I've been working with Hill Country Alliance, and they've been doing an excellent job on thinking about ways that a lot of these new developments can go in and be more thoughtful about their use of water. And you can do that through the covenants and restrictions that they put in place. We recently had a new subdivision go in next to me, and they asked if I would take a look at their CC&Rs. And I was like, sure, I'll take a look at them. And what I learned was that many of these developments come in, and it's a cut and paste from Tennessee, or it's a cut and paste from Kentucky, and they bring those same CC&Rs here without any real understanding that they won't work. And so through working with this HOA next to me, I was able to rewrite their covenants and restrictions and explain to them why they couldn't bury, their propane tanks underground. That was not going to work. They really didn't want to do irrigation all through their subdivision because the cost of water was so high. But it opened my eyes to the fact that a lot of these new developments really just need a little bit of education and information on what the hill country landscaping is all about so that they can adopt more thoughtful CC&Rs. So with that long introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Marissa.
Great introduction. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marisa Bruno. I'm the Water Program Manager at the Hill Country Alliance. And like Karen just mentioned, we've been working on a new resource to help developments put in place regionally specific CC&Rs and landscape guidelines so that we don't have, swaths of St. Augustine lawns that are going to tax our water resources. So before I get into the guide, just a little bit about the Hill Country Alliance. I wonder how many folks are already familiar with our organization. But for those of you who aren't, we're a regional nonprofit that works in 17 counties in central Texas. We work alongside always local partners, from GCDs to county commissioners to local grassroots advocates, to protect the land, night skies, water, and unique character of the region. I've been working at the Hill Country Alliance for 3 years or so, and I definitely didn't have a traditional path to the environmental sector. My background's actually in the business world. I studied at business in undergrad, and then afterwards did a fellowship that was all about revitalizing communities through job creation. And so I've always been really passionate about community and economic development. And then in around 2018, 2019, my grandmother, who was a rancher in northern Mexico, had to sell her ranch because of the back-to-back droughts, 2011, 2018. And something kind of clicked for me that if you don't have water, you don't have community, you can't really have a thriving community, and you stand to lose livelihoods. And so with that, I totally pivoted. Now I work in the water world. I work with the Hill Country Alliance. And I share that story just to share that while we're, people think of us as an environmental nonprofit, we are very much a community nonprofit too. Okay, so this will all be familiar to y'all. This was a chart we helped produce from the State of the Hill Country report that showed growth specifically in unincorporated areas of the Hill Country. That's where you all regulate. Burnett County has grown, for those who can't see, has more than doubled in the last 30 years. And again, unincorporated areas where the county has authority to regulate, but that is very limited, as y'all know. At the same time, we are in the bullseye of what's now being called, as Karen said, a new drought of record. It's really bad. So we've got all this growth, we've got these terrible drought. And so as an organization, right, as Karen said, if growth is inevitable, we're always asking, how can we ensure that new development preserves the resources that make our region such an attractive place to live? And I, of course, think a lot about our water resources. And so given that a lot of growth is happening in unincorporated parts of the region and that y'all have some limited tools, a local partner in Bandera County suggested that working with HOAs might be an interesting opportunity, because HOAs can do things like regulate landscaping within their developments, and y'all can't. There are more than 50 HOAs in Burnett County, and most new developments that come to the region have HOAs. These developments will have deed restrictions like Karen talked about, but they also have landscape guidelines. So these are not, deed restrictions. They are guidance on what your landscaping should look like. And so we created a document that addresses both deed restrictions and landscape guidelines. And the goal is for, as Karen said, whenever a new development comes in, let's help them adopt landscaping policies that are specific to our region, that are going to preserve water, are going to have native plants to support our wildlife, and also protect views of the night sky, because a lot of bright landscape lighting can obscure views of the night sky. So that was our primary inspiration. And then secondarily, there are some HOAs that might be thinking about updating their landscaping guidelines, or that might have, another 300 lots left to build on. And so for them, we also wanted to create a template. So y'all live in do you guys live in HOAs? No? Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't like them, but many of us do live in HOAs. And there's two sort of big types of documents we deal with. The first are CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Those are your classic deed restrictions. They are really hard to change. We actually don't lean too much into that. We talk a little bit about things like setting goals in your deed restrictions to preserve the resources of your community, but changing them requires a 2/3 vote, and it's almost impossible to get 2/3 of your HOA members to show up. So while we provide some best practices, really what we're encouraging is landscape guidelines. So normally when you have an HOA, if you want to make improvements or update your landscaping, you go through a committee, and that committee can update their landscape guidelines, usually with a majority approval of just the board. So you need 5 members to update your landscape guidelines. These are much more flexible, and they help guide landscaping. The reason why we focus so much on landscaping, first just honing in on water, we've heard that 60 to 70% of residential water is used for outdoor irrigation in the summer. Shockingly, there's not a really good survey on this, but we know anecdotally that this is true in the summer. And so if we can cut back on landscape irrigation, we can save a lot of water, keep it in the ground, keep our springs flowing. We also know that we are an important corridor for pollinators and migratory species, and so if we can have native landscapes instead of non-native landscapes, that also supports our wildlife. And then lastly, this I feel like is not as urgent. People don't talk about night skies as much, but it's so important because it's so easy. There are a lot of little changes you can do with your lighting, like having it shielded or specific color temperatures. That means that when a new development comes in, you protect views of the night sky. So this is a really easy win that you can have. So this is a typical subdivision coming into the Hill Country. This is a real example from Comal County. You can choose one of a different, 4 different types of lots. And if you choose lot type C, you must have grass in your front and your back lawn, and you must be fully irrigated. So these are the sort of examples Karen's talking about. This is from Kentucky. Yeah. Well, this is a national home builder, right? So when you get the big, I will not name names, but when you get the big home builders that come in, they're doing what's easier, what's most affordable, and they're using cut and paste language for their landscaping. This does not look like something you would see around here. And again, no shade on this, it's just not regionally specific. In contrast, and also you'll note this is a much more high-end development. This is an example of a development in Fredericksburg. There, the developer crafted different guidelines. So instead of saying you must have turf in your front and backyard, they say you have to limit your turf to no more than 50% of the total front yard, and that the grasses you use must be drought tolerant, developed for the Texas Hill Country. And as a result, you get landscapes that not only look more like they belong here, but also are going to use a lot less water, which in turn saves residents money on their utility bills, protects native habitats, and again, very few studies, but the studies we have seen show that these sorts of landscapes actually increase home values. So really just benefits. I'm gonna kick it over to Karen really fast to make this more localized with some examples from Burnett County.
Double Horn Creek, Curtis. I'll talk about your story. I don't know if many of you know Double Horn Creek. These are both Spicewood examples. Double Horn Creek began to run into some pretty worrisome water issues with their wells for their community. And as a result, they went under a 3-year project to restrict outdoor watering, to require covers on swimming pools, to get rid of outdoor irrigation. And those conservation efforts resulted in a 30% reduction in water consumption. And this is truly just from landscaping and pool covers. And that, with 100 homes, that was over 2.7 million gallons of water that's being saved a year, just by changing the landscaping. Imagine that. So that 30% savings, I was trying to sort of figure out, is that normal? So then I went to Corix Utilities. Many of you know Corix, they're a big utility water provider out here. And I asked Corix to give me some data from Ridge Harbor. Ridge Harbor is interesting because Corix handles both their sewer and their irrigation. And so what they were able to do was give me information about their top 10 residential users and show me how much water are they using, how much are they pulling, and then how much of it is going into the sewer, so that we could come up with sort of a calculation of, okay, well then how much of their water is going to outdoor use. They indicated that 33% of all of residential water use is going to outdoor irrigation. So imagine if we were able, for every subdivision, to reduce the water consumption by 33%. It's a significant savings. So, and those are real numbers from right out here in the Hill Country.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, so I'll skim through this, but our guide, as a bit of a preview, has a section focused on covenant and restriction best practices. Like I mentioned earlier, things like addressing environmental sustainability as a goal for the HOA. And then we have these landscape guidelines. These are ready-to-go documents. Any development could accept them as is. We worked with over 30 water utility providers and water conservation experts to craft them. And they have best practices for things like landscape planting, turf areas, irrigation, etc. I will just say these are not that strict. We really wanted them to be approachable so that no developer could say, oh no, this is not affordable, this is not impossible. And so you'll find that they don't say no irrigation. They say irrigate, but here are some best practices. They don't say no turf, but they do say no St. Augustine, and they say limit it to 50%. So there are, I think, some very practical things here. We created this as a baseline, but we also provide a template, a Word document. We want anyone to be able to take this and adapt it for their community. And so if Burnet County wants to make it more specific to y'all's goals, we would welcome that. So like I said, these guidelines are a starting point. We make our guidelines available to download on our website, and we're readily here to help developers adapt these guidelines for their developments. Last week I met with a different developer on a D.R. Horton Homes lot outside of Fredericksburg, and there the drought situation is so bad, they're looking at guidelines that actually will eliminate irrigation. So they want examples of landscape plantings that will survive our drought and our freezes without irrigation, so we're helping them do that. And so this is the ask. We have a resource, and Karen has these one-pagers. The guide itself is around 50 pages, but that's because it has a lot of information and a lot of resources. But we have these one-pagers, and so when you do have a new subdivision that comes through your door, if you wouldn't mind sharing this as an educational resource and an opportunity to say, this is an opportunity for y'all to be more in line with our community values. If you want, you can also connect them with us, and we're happy to work with them and connect them to experts to make them more specific to the county and also to their development. And if you want to take it a step further, you might also consider drafting a resolution just supporting the adoption of Hill Country specific landscape guidelines to sort of signal to the developer community that y'all are taking this opportunity seriously. So that is the end of the presentation. I don't know if y'all have any questions, but thank you for making the time.
What's the example of non-living ground cover other than my yard? What's the example of non-living ground cover?
Non-living ground cover is like gravel.
Okay.
You know, and there are
Well,
restrictions.
you had rocks in there separately, so I didn't know if it was, okay.
The rocks is more like how big a rock features, and then non-living is like small gravel and how big you can get with that.
Yeah.
But what I want to really stress is, if you have a developer coming and asking to permit a new subdivision, point them our way and we will take it from there. That's the offer. We will take it from there because we're used to having these conversations. I know my way around HOA covenants and restrictions, and we just need you to send them our way and encourage them to be smart about the water conservation, and we will go from there.
And it really is win-win for the development as well, so hopefully non-controversial as an ask. No other questions?
Individuals, if an individual wanted to improve their home, they'll be.
We don't work with individuals on landscaping just because we work, so broadly, but if y'all are a part of an HOA and are interested in having updated landscape guidelines, then we could work with your architectural control committee to revise them in a transparent process.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Appreciate y'all being so proactive. We all know how important water is.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, call agenda item number 6, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding unclaimed property capital credits for counties in conjunction with local government code 381004, and authorizing the county judge to request the funds available to Burnett County. So what this is many of us who live out in the country understand that we have these capital credits that come back to us if we're a member of PEC or some other co-op that's out in this area. And so what's happening is, after so many times under this government code section, if they can't find, or after so many years, then the county can receive the funds. Let's see, I'm on the wrong page here. And so to deal with these funds related to consistent with the state law. It has limited use, but if the county receives these funds, they'll have to go in a special account and then be used for the statutory purposes that are listed in our board packet and on this under Chapter 381.004. So, is there any public comment on this issue? Is there any discussion?
I'd move for approval.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay. Moved and seconded that we approve this authority for me to sign this claim. Again, we don't even know if there's any money out there, but if there is money, it'll come back to us and be used for these purposes. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. All right, call agenda item number 7. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding a resolution to the Lower Colorado River Authority opposing the quarry and mine development permit application number 2024-5606 under the Highland Lakes Watershed Ordinance submitted by Asphalt Inc. on approximately 710 acres at 3221 FM 3509, Burnett County, Texas. Is there any public comment on this issue? Okay. So what I've got before me here, as many people were notified that today from 8 a.m. till 11 a.m., over at 401 East Jackson, the LCRA is taking public comment today. And so they've set up stenographers, and they've set up a way for anybody to register their public comment regarding the quarry that's being proposed. And then off of that public comment, they're going to make a determination about whether to grant the water permit or if the requirements. And I've looked over some of the material, and it looks like many of the issues have already been addressed by Asphalt Inc. So what I'm asking you today, commissioners, is that we submit a resolution that has been laid out, taking a stand that we ask the LCRA not to approve the permit. I guess I should go ahead and say TCEQ has already approved the permit earlier. I guess it was last week. And so as we're moving forward, we just need to probably take a stand against the damage that it'll do to our county. And so I ask you for consideration of this ordinance to ask LCRA not to approve the water permit.
Move for approval of the adoption of the order.
Second.
Resolution.
So, thank you. So it's been moved and seconded that we approve this request, the resolution to request LCR not to approve the permit, water permit related to this project on Asphalt Inc., as previously stated. Is there any discussion? Okay. If no, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All the,
Are you opening for public comment?
I had already opened for public comment when I first called it.
So you're in deliberation?
Yes, we're in deliberation now.
I'll
So
just,
all
under Rule
those,
7, I'll just go ahead and ask my question.
no, I'm sorry, I've already called for the vote. All those opposed, same sign? Okay. All right.
Rule 7 of the local rules. Do you know-
I called for public comment.
I understand that.
And so there was nobody responded, and so I moved.
You did not call for public comment, I would have come up. That's why I'm here.
Did I not call? I said, is there any public comment? I thought you did. I did. I said, is there?
Okay,
Look
well,
back
then
at the tape.
I'm here under Rule 7.
Okay. So anyway, motion passes. That's all for this issue. So,
You know, you're oppressing, this is official oppression.
I called for public comment. You didn't respond. Yes, I did. All right. I need to sign this now. Okay, agenda item number 8, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the temporary suspension of Burnett County budget policy and related to transferring funds from the salary line item to road equipment line item for the sheriff office budget and maintenance supplies for the jail budget. So what I have under agenda item 8, I'll go ahead and call again for public comment on this issue. Okay. Seeing none. All right. So I've given you an excerpt, Commissioners. I didn't want to copy the entire policy in here, but basically in our budget manual, we have a policy that prohibits the transfer of funds from salary line item to any other line item. Now, as you well know, the background on this issue is a few weeks ago when we did our outside auditor report, also called the CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Review, we discovered that about $3.3 million of much needed revenue was lapsed back into our budget from money that went unspent. Well, in the meantime, as we've also heard, the sheriff's office has had a need for cars and for other operations at their jail. So what I'm asking you in this vote is to suspend our policy related to these two items to allow the transfer of funds from, in other words, this vote is for the policy suspension related to these items that we'll take up next, and that is to move money from lapsed salaries at the sheriff's office and at the jail into the operations so that and then I'll have another vote after this. But I request that you consider suspending the policy related to these two items. So, is there a motion?
I'll move to temporarily suspend this policy.
Second.
All right. It's been moved.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
For discussion. Okay, the line item transfer of salaries, is that specifically for unfilled positions? Or?
Oh, good question. Right.
I mean,
So the auditor and I got together and examined both the jail budget. So this is addressing two separate budgets: the jail budget and the sheriff's budget. And but also during the course of the year, we have 4 or 5 months left in the year. So they might need overtime when they have shortages. But they've had a few in the sheriff's deputy position. They've had a few vacancies that have generated this cash that we now want to move to road equipment so that the sheriff can buy additional vehicles. And then on the jail side, it was, they have, in most jails and prisons too, have a really high turnover. And again, we're leaving a cushion for them in case of some serious event happens, that they still have money for overtime. And if we have, you know, Chief Trevino and I were talking the other day, if something really big happened, God forbid, we'd have to move money from somewhere else. But at that point, it might be an emergency or qualify under the emergency statutes, okay? But for now, just in the day-to-day operation of the budget, we have positions that have been vacant, to your point, Commissioner Dockery, positions that have been vacant, that money's sitting there, the sheriff needs it in other purposes, and so I'm asking for the suspension of the policy.
Okay. Thank you for the explanation, sir.
Okay. Let's see. It's been moved and seconded. Right. All right. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion passes. And then, so the next item under 9 is to follow the policy that we just suspended temporarily. What I'm asking in this case is to take those funds from these two categories, deputies and telecommunicators, $75,000 each, and move it into the road equipment line item, or I think it's called, I'm sorry, machine/equipment capitalized. And then there's I'll just go ahead and take all two of these at the same time because they're related to the same issue. And then from jail certificates and deputy salaries into maintenance supplies. And we've worked this out with the sheriff ahead of time. And again, this is just a quick background on the sheriff's office. I've been working with the county auditor and our bonding company to try to identify funds that are available for use. There was a lot of ARPA funds that were available in 20 and 21. So one of the things that's complementing this issue is I've identified $383,000 in bond funds that I'll be moving along with this road money. And I've talked to the bonding attorney and bonding counsel, and we're consolidating these funds and giving them to the sheriff for additional. So with this 150 and the 383, that'll be over $500,000 in new cars that the sheriff can obligate and go out and budget. And then additionally, there was several issues in there's some bond funds that were sitting there unused, and so I've collapsed those to upgrade chillers and the HIVAC system, working with the sheriff and his staff, Chief Trevino and Matt Kimbler. So we'll be using tax note money to upgrade the jail and meet the sheriff's constitutional obligations for maintaining a healthy and safe jail. So what I'm asking today, though, to complement the tax note money is to go ahead and approve these line items, $150,000 for the sheriff and for the sheriff vehicles, and then $42,000 to clean the ducts prior to the new chillers being installed from the tax note money. Is there any public comment on this issue?
I'd move for approval.
Okay, we'll wait for public comment.
Patty Cup, Burnett County taxpayer. Did you say bonds?
Correct.
Are you talking tax depreciation notes or other bonds?
Well, they're called tax notes in my book. I don't know. There could be other things, but there's tax notes that have been issued by the county in 2020.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You have a
Move for
motion?
approval.
Thank you. Move
I'll
for
second.
approval. All right. All right. Any further discussion? It's been moved and seconded that we approve this item. Is there any further discussion? Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion passes. Okay, on item number 10, I don't have a document on it, but we're asking for approval. We've got, I know Commissioner Byerly brought to me the other day that we've got some pretty serious leaks at the library across the street from the courthouse. And then we've been aware for quite some time of leaks at our really cool community center that we have over at 607 Vanderveer. So I'm asking for permission, authorized to go out to bid to repair, to get bids to repair these two roofs. I just want to say as a note, the other day we were doing a walkthrough through another bid that we're with Architects. Commissioner Dockery and I were walking through, looking at some of the leaks that we have below and the settling that's going on in this courthouse. And when I called the architect after kind of see where we were, she said, I need to compliment you, and this goes out to Richard and his staff as well as the Commissioner's Court. She said, I traveled courthouses all over the state of Texas, and one of the things that's just most impressive about your courthouse is how well taken care of. It doesn't have any leaks. You've clearly been patching roofs or putting new roofs on as appropriate, doing really good maintenance. And she said it's a real treasure for us as architects all over the state with courthouses to see how well you've taken care of it. So keeping in that vein, I do want to make sure that we take care of this great facility that we have in the AgriLife building and our library across the street. So is there any public comment on this issue? Okay.
I'd like to, just for discussion, if I could, please. In having been out at the property on Vanderveer recently, AgriLife is doing some test beds along the east side of the facility, and one of the things they're battling is the drip line of the roof.
Oh, okay.
Hitting the ground and essentially trenching out the ground there. Evidently someone had come in and put some riprap in there, some large rock in there, which makes it very tough to get to the test beds because it's uneven. I'd like within this bid, if we could consider putting some commercial gutters along that side of the building, on the east side of the building.
Okay, all right.
Just an ask.
Good. All right. That's appropriate. We'll take bids for that as well. Is anybody from the auditor's office here taking notes? Okay. Did you catch that? All right. All right. So this is just to go out to bid, including gutters on the east side. I hear a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we approve going out to bid to install new roofs on the AgriLife and the library, Herman Brown Library. And so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, great. Okay, we're going to discuss and consider and take appropriate action in regards to the update and revisions of the Burnett County Employee Policy Manual, updating the harassment policy and requiring acknowledgement from all employees. Is there any public comment on this issue?
Patty Cope again. After having gone through quite a bit of length of time with harassment, the previous judge, I analyzed the policy that you attached to the agenda, and I'm curious. It says, if reporting to, this is my analysis, if reporting to the department head is not suitable, employees can report to other people. But whose choice is it to report to other people? Is it the employee's choice?
So,
Okay.
to answer your question, yes, I think it's clearly stated it's the employee's opportunity to go to whoever they feel safe for. That's the point of this policy.
How many times does an employee have to confront the harasser, if practical, and ask them to stop? Do you have zero tolerance, or do you allow one time the person says, don't harass me, I don't like what you're saying or doing? Is it 3 times? How many times? Is there? I'm sorry?
Sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit. The policy is just stating that if somebody does something to an employee that's uncomfortable, they should say something. That's all it's saying. We're not asking for anything other than human interaction that would say if something is making somebody uncomfortable or is inappropriate or sexual in nature, that they immediately say something instead of not saying anything.
They immediately say something to the harasser?
We would hope so, but
Okay.
but at the end of the day, no person, no victim is going to be held. Nothing in this policy would hold a victim accountable for their failure to do
Right.
so, but they can
Right.
still report it.
I'm just saying.
Ideally, in a human interaction, just basic human action, if something's uncomfortable, that should be stated
Correct.
immediately.
Absolutely.
And that's all this policy is asking people to do.
So, and I'm just saying, can the county, I'm here as a female to protect, I've been harassed, I've been through it. So I want to know how many times the policy is suggesting that a victim put up with being harassed. Is it a zero tolerance for harassment? You get one strike? It's just a policy consideration, that's all. Can you define what an investigation is? Can you define appropriate oversight entities? And can you define who will investigate a little bit more specifically if the harasser is the county judge? These are just policy questions. Public comments, that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and when I first was appointed, I was approached about this issue, and I spent a great deal of time, both legal, my own, looking over this issue. So what I've laid out here before you is after, again, looking at the state of Texas policy, looking at lots of counties. There's actually a Texas Association of County policy. What I've done is tried to address some of the shortcomings. It wasn't always clear. Of course, at the state of Texas, we have what's called the State Auditor's Office. That's an independent agency. So all state agencies have the requirement that if you don't feel comfortable reporting within your own agency, then you go to this outside agency called the State Auditor's Office that serves as kind of an oversight agency for all the entire state. I met with our legal staff. We tried to come up with some alternative super agency, but there's not one for counties. But one thing that this policy is different in a lot of ways. Number one is that if somebody's making you feel uncomfortable, we're asking all employees to just say something right then. But you can still report it to your supervisor or to the person you feel comfortable with. If it's a supervisor or elected official, they need to go somewhere else. Within the confines of having, 15 different elected officials or however many we have, and the way the county government is structured by our Constitution, this is the best we can do to make sure, number one, is that we will, that when people are harassed or sexually harassed, that they have an outlet through multiple elected officials, and then if a finding is determined, that if that elected official has a licensure or some oversight agency that goes beyond the county, that agency will be notified. Now, within the confines of the county, and we did look at many other counties in the area, and I appreciate Shirley Bullard working on this. We really spent a lot of time trying to find the safest way for every employee. But that's what this policy is about, Commissioners, is to be a place that Burnett County, number one, will take a hard stand against any kind of harassment or sexual harassment, and that we have done our best and due diligence to figure out how to make it stop and how we'll deal with employees and even each other as elected officials to make sure that this pattern does not continue and will not continue in Burnett County, period. So I ask that you move for adoption, and not only that, also that every county employee and every elected official will sign this recognizing that they understand the policy and they've received a copy of this policy. So,
Move for adoption.
Second.
any questions? Any discussion? Okay. All right, so it's been moved and seconded that we adopt this policy to strengthen and improve our harassment and sexual harassment policy, and also to require every employee and request that every elected official sign the policy and acknowledge that they have received a copy and understand its content. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Okay, the next item of business is the organizational chart. I know in January, after the resignation of the previous judge, that a lot of these functions were managed by each individual commissioner. What I have here before you is the request to bring that back under my direct supervision, but a little bit different than I think than it's ever been operated before. And I've tried to use the language right out of the AG opinion and consistent with statute that all of these employees, I want to be clear, this is the different part. In the past, they worked for directly for the judge. They answered to the judge, and it was kind of just do what I say. And so what I want to do is have a much healthier reporting structure under this organizational structure and in line with the AG opinion regarding Burnett County issued last year in 2024, that there is no king, there is no overlord, there's the Commissioners Court as an elected body, and they are, that each one of these employees report to the Commissioners Court. I will sign timesheets. I will coordinate the activities on behalf of the Commissioners Court, but I'm not the the Lord Superior. We're working together, and when any commissioner has requests for IT or any of these functions, HR assistance, then that will be that's how this will be organized. So, but it'll help streamline a lot of the things in court where I can participate in coordination. So, is there public comment?
Claire Nybro, Burnett County resident. You mentioned an AG opinion. What AG opinion number would that be?
Is it 491? Anyway, it's the only one that I know of about Burnett County. So it was done in last fall. So
An AG opinion specifically for Burnett County?
About the management of Burnett County officials and organization, yes. So.
Okay. The nepotism. Thank you.
Patty Cope again. I have a couple questions about the org chart. Was the only thing that I was able to pull up on the attachments. And on page 2, it shows that the commissioners each have a lead over some department. And then on the first page, it shows that, is this basically for all the non-elected departments?
Yeah.
Okay. So question for you is, where is Road and Bridge? Because I don't see it on here. And my other question is, doesn't the org chart usually show the head, the boss? That would be the voters, so that's missing. But also, the 5 of you, 4 of you are commissioners, and then 1 is the judge, and you're supposed to cross-check each other's power and authority, right? It's constitutional. It's a power check. I think it's Article 5, Section 18B says that you shall do some things. And I just want to make sure that this delegation of constitutional duties doesn't violate that article. Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Since I don't have a copy of that organizational chart, are the taxpayers at the top of the chart?
Do you have any other public comment? Do you have any other public comment?
I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
Are the taxpayers at the top of
I'm
the...
not answering the question. You can, it was available online, so go ahead.
Well, I don't see that on there, but you all do work for the taxpayers. You are civil servants, and I think you forget that from time to time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? All right. So are there any questions about this? Again, this is just making sure that on the second page of the org chart, it still leaves a couple commissioners as lead over different responsibilities as the Commissioners Court. I appreciate that. Any other questions? Okay. So all those in favor, say aye. Wait, sorry.
We don't have a motion.
Do I have a I thought we already did the motion. Apologize, I didn't.
I move for approval of Bernie County Commissioners Court organizational chart.
I'll second.
All right. And then all those, it's been moved and seconded to go ahead and adopt the organizational chart as I provided in the public record as well as the meeting book. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. Motion passes. All right. The other thing I wanted to go ahead and announce that Commissioner Luther and I interviewed several candidates and wanted to go ahead. I don't think this is an action item, looking at my attorneys, but they're talking away. I don't think this needs to be voted on, but just acknowledgement of the, we've got Madeline, do you want to come on up? And
Do you want to open 13?
Oh, yeah, 13, excuse me. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action concerning acknowledgement of selection of the Administrative Director, Commissioners Court. And so we've gone through a number of applicants. I think we did 10 interviews and worked with HR, and we've selected Madeline Parker as our new Administrative Director. So Madeline has been working for the last couple of years at the JP down in Marble Falls, and then also she's has a law degree, and she's lives here in Burnet, grew up here, and so she's excited to be coming on board, and we'll be doing a lot of good positive things. So, all right. So, anything else?
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you, Madeline.
Welcome. When does she start?
She will start on the 19th, before the next Commissioners Court. So, all righty. So on this next item, I'm going to go ahead and call 26B, which is the report on the city and school board elections and use of the paper ballots. So call Doug Ferguson. You want to tell us about what happened?
Does there need to be public comment first?
Any public comment about the, on 26B, a report on the use of paper ballots and how the city and county elections went? Okay. All right. Maybe the next item.
Good morning, Commissioners, Judge. We just completed our first election with the new paper ballot system that we have, and the election went really well. We had a really good turnout compared to other May elections, probably because we had the Marble Falls ISD issues on the ballot, and you guys probably got a copy of our check-ins. The early voting period was pretty strong, especially at Texas Tech, where most of the Marble Falls ISD voters voted. We had a kind of a close race in the council or the board member, ISD board member election. And there was some talk about maybe even having a recount. We had the two candidates were about 54 votes apart. So we have to do what's called a partial manual count after every election. And so a May election, we get to choose what our ballot styles are that we recount. So I just suggested to the candidates that we recount that election, which was the bulk of the election, of the May election. And so we started Tuesday at 9 o'clock and recounted that election, plus we counted a Cottonwood and a Granite Shoals mayor election. And we finished about 10 minutes till 5, and everything came out exactly right. So the candidates were pleased that we tested that and made sure that the equipment worked exactly how it was supposed to, and that everything came out exactly like it was counted by the machines. So that was a big plus. You guys have a pictorial that was done by Hart about the Verity data, how the system works. And we have computers in the office that are just exactly like what we had before. They are not connected to the internet. They're standalone, machines. And one of the interesting and cool things about them is that they're whitelisted. They don't have malware detection and things like that on them. They have a whitelist that is literally programmed to what they're supposed to see. The software that's on the machine is whitelisted, and the thumb drives that we use whenever we are transferring from the machines, the scanners out in the field to actually count votes, they'll accept only those thumb drives. And anything that would be foreign to that computer, it just won't accept it. So it's kind of the opposite of malware and virusware, where it just will not accept anything but what is programmed into it. This is what you're gonna use. And anyway, so we have a computer that you do the data entry on, the building of the election. It actually, you can print the ballots from there that we mail out to the absentee voters. And then we have another computer that's also a standalone that's connected to our big scanner for absentee ballots when they come back, and that's what gets scanned on election day by our ballot board. And ultimately, everything comes back to the first computer, which also has count on it, and that's where we read those devices to get those counts. And then the most significant part of the whole thing is every voted paper ballot, which is for every voter. Every voter votes a paper ballot. All of those are retained as a backup for the election. And that's what we actually counted on Tuesday, was the paper ballots from all of those voters that voted in those contests. So it was a good, successful election. Very pleased for our first election. It's a little jerky at first because we were all learning at the same time. Voters, poll workers, Doug's office, all of my helpers. So it was fast and furious at the beginning, but it really came out really well. So, any questions about the election?
Were there very many spoiled ballots?
We only had a few spoiled ballots. The scanner, whenever you have not voted correctly, or if you've not scribbled in real good into your box, when you vote, if it's very light, the scanner's not going to make a decision. The scanner's not going to go, I think they meant this, but I'm not sure. The scanner will just kick it back out, and it'll tell you on the screen what.
And to be clear, the voter's sticking it in, there's a problem, it brings it back out.
Exactly.
And so it's only the voter that's touching that ballot.
That is
Nobody
correct.
else is
Now,
intervening.
We do have a poll worker that is close to that machine to monitor that activity. And if the voter is having difficulty, often the voter, when it kicks it back out, the voter will grab it before they've read what it says on the screen. Well, as soon as you pull it back out, the screen goes blank and it's ready for the next scan. So we may have to ask the voter, put it back in, let it kick it back out, and then let's read the screen and see what's wrong.
But at that point, it's not a spoiled ballot. It's just it's not fully readable, the voter gets their own ballot back.
That's correct.
And then they can, hopefully they'll hold on, not pull it out until they see what the problem is, and they can go back to the table and fix it
Exactly.
themselves,
And
correct?
we had to have a few people go back and actually color it in better because the system just said, hey, you got to do better than that. Some of them, when they overvote, if they overvote, the system will kick it out and tell them that they've overvoted. And so that would be a ballot that would have to be spoiled unless they want to cast it as is. And we actually had two ballots, one early voting and one election day, where the voter actually cast it as is, and it had an overvote on it. The overvoted contest doesn't count if they do that, but it clearly states that on the screen. And normally a voter would take that ballot back out, and then the poll workers would spoil that ballot, get the voter a new ballot, and have them go sit down, vote that ballot, and then try it again. And I've told all of my poll workers, if they try it twice and they get it wrong 2 times, have them sit down at the ballot marking device, because you can't overvote on that machine. So it's kind of a foolproof way to finish. But I think we had 4 or 5 maybe spoiled ballots, so it wasn't a lot. So.
Okay. Good. Any questions, Commissioner?
So just one thing that was said at one of the last public forum is that we can't oversee and control other states, counties, and all that stuff, but we can look at ours. And in this case, there was a manual paper hand count of 3 races within it, and they all came back the way the machine said. So this really is the best of both worlds.
Right.
Okay.
Any other commissioner questions? Okay. All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and call number 14. You'll probably want to sit down just a minute. There might be some public comment on this. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action concerning a resolution to adopt the Hart Verity ballot on demand 2.7 voting system for county elections. And I think what I will do before I take public comment, why don't you go ahead and tell us why you're requesting this, and then you can sit back down and see if there's public comment.
Section 123.035 of the Texas Election Code requires that a county adopt new voting equipment before it's used in a county election. So that's basically what we're doing here, just making it legal for us to use it in November and then subsequent elections afterwards.
And it's March and November, correct?
March and November?
Right.
You mean next year?
Yes.
Yeah, March, May.
Oh, because we're going to have a constitutional, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah,
that.
constitutional
election
this
in
year.
November.
Right.
And then March, then November. I'm
That's
sorry.
right, yeah. It says this November election and all subsequent elections.
Gotcha.
So
So this isn't an update, an upgrade, or a cost? This is a procedural thing?
this is a procedural thing.
Okay.
It just has to be on the record that we adopted this equipment in Commissioner's Court.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will call for public comment on item number 14.
Okay, Goat Burnett County voter. I think the elections administrator just said that 123.035 has to be done before the equipment's used. So what equipment was adopted for March?
This is only countywide this resolution only applies to countywide resolutions. To countywide elections, excuse me.
So the equipment doesn't need to be adopted for,
Cities are responsible for their own elections.
they contract with the county for
Right,
that.
that's correct.
So the county has to present properly adopted equipment as part of the contract. So I'm trying to figure out what date, so we're not approving anything, so the old machines were used for March, or I'm just missing the point? In May, I'm sorry, yeah. I'm sorry, in May. I'm talking about the election we just had. So those were presented by the county under contract to the local political subdivisions as being equipment that's okay to use. Was this required to be adopted?
This law applies to countywide elections.
Only to
Those were
countywide?
not county.
Okay. What was the date that the state approved the contract?
I do not know.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment?
I just want to ask a question. Juanita Kaufman, you have seen it in operation. Do you feel that there is any way that this could be manipulated or votes could be changed in any way whatsoever using this system? So you feel that this would be a completely honest election using this equipment?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other public comment on item number 14? Okay. All right. Anything else? Are there any questions for Mr. Ferguson from the commissioners?
And I guess you guys have a copy of this.
We have a copy of the resolution. All right. Entertain a motion to...
Move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the resolution as presented to adopt the Hart Verity ballot and on-demand 2.7 voting system for Burnett County. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, number 15, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding quotes for the new hot mix asphalt paver to be purchased out of the 2022 tax notes. And then we have a few different bids here.
Mr. Judge, we have 3 quotes obtained from 3 different vendors that are all utilizing buy board for their quotations, which is a buying co-op that we're allowed to purchase under. We have in a sending price order, we have Klosner at 200, quoted a Malden machine, $279,583. Anderson Machinery Equipment quoted a Bomag machine, $317,587.52. And Cooper Equipment quoted an Aztec Carlson machine for $360,464. The funds that we have available to us currently through the 2022 shared equipment line item is $450,250. It would be my recommendation to this court, after reviewing these quotes and doing some detailed research on these, that we entertain purchasing the Bomag machine that was submitted from Anderson Machinery Company. The parts are available. The Bomag parts are manufactured in the U.S. The machine comes standard with what they refer to as the MOBA grade and slope feature, which is, as you've seen on papers, it's got a ski out in front of it, so it's constantly measuring the distance from that, trying to take out waves in the pavement feature as it works. It does not utilize DEF, which will be a cost savings and hopefully minimize service issues. The conveyor slats are 3 inches thick, while the Maldens are only 1 inch thick. It has a bin damper bumper to minimize damage to the trucks and the paver, and it also has a good service availability record. So it's my recommendation to the court that we move forward with the Anderson Machine Equipment quote.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. I didn't take public comment. Is there any public comment on the purchase of this kind of equipment? Okay. All right. It's been moved and seconded to buy the Anderson. I'm glad you didn't go with the Cooper. That sounded more like a video game with the joystick and all that. So I'm pretty happy that we ended up with one that looks like more of a work implement. So I was going to ask to be on the road crew soon if we went with the other one. So, all right.
Tomorrow.
All right. Any further discussion? Looks like I might get myself in trouble here. Any further discussion, any questions? And then okay, all those in favor of purchasing the Anderson machine off the buy board for $317,587.52. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion passes. Okay,
Could we have about a 5-minute recess?
yeah, let's take a 5-minute recess. It's now 10:23. Oh, yeah. Who has it?
Yes.
Plenty of coffee, okay.
Not to text you on it, somebody's thinking.
I said that there was no video, but sound.
You know?
Larry, your
Yeah, I know.
bird ringing up?
Then start.
You haven't mowed weeds yet?
Well, it looks like prairie grass. Kind of reluctant.
Better put together.
We don't have a POA yet, where I live. I don't know if you know what's going on over there.
I said that they were trying to get it organized, but they
No, we just had
Showed on-
a vote.
On that string town cemetery, that they're donating. I'm going to meet with Reverend Harry today at 2 down in St. Frederick's Baptist.
We don't have any rules, but I will tell you.
I'm going to meet with the assistant city manager about something. I forgot.
This is what's been doing for me.
Stringtown's a mile.
Right, yeah. Apparently, David doesn't want me to move the Briggs Community Center to Stringtown, so we can have a resource.
Well, we don't have any much property in Stringtown.
That's what I'm saying, I wanted to move the we can have the cemetery and the Briggs Community Center down there. A place to meet.
Your daughters can get on. Hey, V said to remind you to say the item number and then.
All right, we're going to come back together. All right, it's now 10:29. Call the meeting back to order, and we'll start with item number 16. Wait. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Howdy.
Good morning. Okay, I have a couple reports for you all. Kind of just
State your name,
happened.
please.
Oh, sorry, Carrie Crownover, Burnett County Treasurer.
Thank you.
Happened that it worked out really well, that we missed the first one since I was at conference. So here I am today. So we have, again, this is what I'm reporting is cash balances that are available as of March 31st, 2025. And beginning cash and investments balance was $84,517,595.90. We received a total of $5,027,589.76. Our interest earnings for March 2025 are $314,892.83. We dispersed $6,622,214.63, leaving us with a month-ending cash and investments balance of $83,184,078.45. We received donations to Vet Rides in the amount of $8,743.
Great.
And then for our quarterly report, our quarterly investment recap for the months of January through March of 2025, we maintained about 76% of our funds in our pool accounts, including Logic, Tex Pool, and Texas Class. We maintained 4% into certificates of deposit, and we averaged 20% in our local depository. Our total investment and cash earnings for that quarter were $844,389.15. And average interest rates were 4.25%. That is projected to decrease slightly, and who knows for how long. But at the next quarterly report, the quarterly average earnings rate will be lower than the 4.25% we're currently for January through March.
I'll move to accept
Second.
both reports.
All right. Is there any public comment on the treasury report?
Sorry.
All right. It's been moved and seconded that we accept the report, both reports, excuse me. Are there any more questions? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 17, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the replat of Lot 79, Seven Creeks Ranch, Phase 3, to be known as Lots 79 and 79B. Seven Creeks Ranch, Phase 3, a division of one lot into two, with the resulting tracts being approximately 20 acres and 15 acres.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, members of the public. Herb Darling, Burnett County Development Services. We've got a request for a replat, Seven Creeks, and this portion of Seven Creeks is large tract lots. They are allowed one division,
And they're going to remain large? I mean,
It's my recommendation the court approve this.
yeah, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Any public comment on the issue? Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this two lots into one.
One lot.
I'm sorry.
into two.
Sorry, one lot into two. Excuse me.
I missed that.
And then, okay. And any questions, discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Just a Scribner's error that it's me, not Jim. Got it. They got yours right.
Black.
See this?
Black or blue?
Black. Where does that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Quarterly investment doesn't have a signature.
That's not.
Go back.
Okay, number 18, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the replat of Tract D, Colina Cove Commercial Subdivision, to be known as Tracts D1 and D2, Colina Cove Commercial Subdivision, a division of one lot into two.
Yes, sir. This is a commercial subdivision located at 1431 and 2342. It has Kingsland Water Supply and K-Mud serving the area. Service is available. It's my recommendation to approve.
POA approval.
Yes, Dennis Schott, POA president, did approve it.
I'd move for approval.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this division of one lot into two. Is there any public comment on the issue? Okay, seeing none. It's been moved and seconded. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, number 19, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the replat of lots 62 and 63 Clearwater Landing at LBJ, plat number 1.1, to be known as Lot 62A, Clearwater Landing at LBJ, plat number 1.1, a combination of two lots into one.
2-into-1 combination, lowers density, recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, any public comment? It's been moved and seconded that we approve this plat. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. Okay, item number 20. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding the replats of Lot 26 and 27, Shady Creek Ranches, to be known as Lot 26A. Shady Creek Ranches, a combination of two lots into one.
Judge, Commissioners, you may remember this is a carryover from last court. We didn't have the signature page ready to go on this one.
Okay.
And it's my recommendation 2-into-1 that you approve this.
Did we already approve it at the last meeting?
No, sir,
Okay,
we did
thank
not
you.
take action.
All right, any public comment?
I would move for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve this replat and with the signature page attached. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Okay, number 21. Oh, okay. timeout. Great, thank you. All right, number 20, 22, right?
21.
21, sorry, looking at the wrong side. 21, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding a request for a preliminary plat approval of Thomas Ranch, Section 5, a private subdivision consisting of 2 lots on 45.1067 acres located near the 12,000 block of County Road 404.
Judge Commissioners, this is part of the Thomas Ranch subdivision. It's Section 5. It is going to eventually be smaller tracts on these. They are preliminarying them as larger tracts. You will have a low-density development in Tract 2 and a higher-density development in Tract 1. It is also split as lot follows Burnett Travis County Road. These two proposed tracts in the preliminary. When they come back for final, it'll look a lot different.
So we're splitting it now, but you said something on another property a minute ago. You were saying something about that they can only subdivide it once, but it sounds like on
That's
this one.
Per deed restrictions.
Oh, per deed restrictions. So
Yes,
when we're talking about that, okay, Seven Creeks, you can buy a piece of property, the deed says you can split it one time, then we're done. Okay,
Split
so,
once, or it's got a minimum tract
okay,
size.
right.
Yeah, it still has other,
I'm just making sure it didn't apply to this. So
Correct.
I'm sorry, just carrying over information to another track. So this is a planned subdivision. We're doing a division now, and then they're going to come in with a full plat at a later time, but we're setting it up so it's organized in a way that they can submit a subdivision plat for later. Is that-
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's exactly.
Thank you. All right, any public comment on this property? Okay, all right.
I move for approval.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve this plat. And is there any further questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Judge Commissioners, thank you.
Thank you, Herb.
Thank you. Okay, this is a Sheriff Department request from Commissary, oh, I'm sorry, call that item. Number 22, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding budget interdepartmental line item transfers. This is a request from the Sheriff's Office to move some commissary funds into a line item for use in this, and just as a reminder, the Sheriff's commissary line item is statutorily, it's one of the few things that are not inside of the Commissioner's Court authority, but to bring it into the budget for items that are covered under the budget, we have to approve that it be brought in. So I'm recommending this item. Is there any public comment? Okay. I'll hear a motion.
Second.
Are we going to take action on the other one as well?
The magistrate's in there too.
I'm sorry. Should have turned the page. Okay. And then the second one is so this is just Budget County line item transfer for the magistrate to move from operating supplies into travel.
Opposite of that.
Opposite, sorry. From. I guess it needs to be filled out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Commissioner
Yes.
Luther, I think you had a
I move
motion.
for approval.
All right.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any public comment on these two items? Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve these two line item transfers. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Number 23, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action for the authorization of payments of claims previously approved by the county auditor. This is one of the things we're going to continue to work on to try to get these posted ahead of time. We're not there yet, but we're going to work on it. But the commissioners should have received the email. I know I looked over mine in detail late last night, this morning. Any questions to go ahead and pay the bills?
Move for approval.
Okay. Any public comment?
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the payments previously authorized by the county auditor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay. There's, on this next item, number 24 is, what's 24? Okay, sorry. Number 24, we're skipping, there's no item submitted, or we took care of it under our previous thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to, Claire Nybro again, I was going to ask a question about the previous budget talks. Have they commenced? Have you started the budget procedure for next fiscal year?
I have started material, but not sent out. They'll be
Okay.
publicly notified.
Oh, so the public will be able to sit on your budget discussions on the record?
Of course.
Okay, perfect, thank you. That's all I wanted to ask.
Is there another one?
Well,
Okay, sorry.
I just wanted to ask.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, no, everything, I mean, we'll have workshops.
Thank you.
So, okay, number 25. This is so commissioners, okay, number 25, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding departmental asset transfers. Is there any public comment on the transfer of department assets? So please make a note in your book. Okay, Mrs. Cope, go ahead.
What number are you on? I'm sorry.
I'm on 25, department transfers, asset transfers.
Yeah, I just had a question. It does, the forms, when you look at them, it doesn't say where some of the items are being transferred to. That's all I just wanted to find out. Are they going for auction or?
Sure. So first off, commissioners, there's a list of computer items. It says continued from page 1, but there's no page 1 that I can find. So we're just going to totally disregard that. And so I'm going on record now that that's being accepted because I don't know where it came from and I don't know who submitted it or how it got here. Okay? So apologize for that. I'll work on that in the future. But for now, this list of computer items are not being considered today. So, and then now the rest of them are items that either are going to Gov Deals or they're going internally. I know maintenance is getting two. Thank you, Commissioner Byerly, for helping them out after the loss of their truck a few weeks ago. And it looks like, Mr. Gumbert, it looks like you're getting rid of that truck because all the metal shavings in the transmission case. So, so I consider a motion other than the last page on the computer items. Take a motion to consider.
I'll move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Byerly made the motion and Collier made the second. Is there any further discussion or questions on these items? Okay. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, number 26, discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding department updates. I'll start off with, I've already done 26B, but we'll start off with maintenance. Mr. Richard Gumbert to talk about the facilities and a little checklist I've got on the agenda here.
All right, we've got quite a,
Go ahead and state your name for the record.
Richard Gumbert, Burnett County Maintenance Supervisor. The courthouse, the annex extension over here across the street, they got the trusses in last week. They've got those trusses up. They've finished framing up. Looks like the majority of upstairs. They told me they should have it dried in by the end of this week. Probably the metal on the following week, and I think after this we're going to see it progress pretty quickly. And then at the County Road 250, 110 County Road 250, the newly acquired building, we've got the punch list done, paint, minor repairs. It's almost ready to be moved in. I think IT has a few more things, and then we've got some things outside that won't interfere with them moving in. And then you kind of touched on when the architects had walked around the courthouse, taking a look at some things. So hadn't heard back on that from that yet, but they did initially, prior to that, they did give us some ideas of what they saw and suspected, like the downspouts were just dumping out right there. So we've begun to extend those. I think we've got 2 or 3 more to do. So we're helping out that way.
And just a reminder, so we had that, we've only had one significant rain, and it did leak into the building.
Yes, it's just still the same leaks in the basement as they were. It's going to require, yeah. And then on the key control, we once we took control of the Vanderveer property, we went through and we rekeyed everything, and that put a little hiccup in some of the people that were using the facilities, but since then, it's been taken care of.
And I just want to comment on that. It wasn't a bad thing, but what happened is we have these buildings and we didn't know who was storing stuff in them. So people have been reaching out to us. It turns out that we need signed agreements for if they're going to use county property, that they're like the Smiles group out of does free dental care. They were storing some stuff in their building. So we're glad to set up an agreement, but we didn't know who had the stuff when Commissioner Dockery and I walked through the buildings a few weeks ago with Zach, your assistant, and didn't know where all this stuff came from. Now we're setting up appropriate processes to take care of our facilities and make the proper arrangements for people who are doing things in our community.
Yeah, anyone that's in need of access to the buildings needs to submit a request with the sheriff's office so they can either get a key or they'll contact me and I'll reach out to the appropriate people and get them access. So Ocala, I know we had done a remodel, but it's been several years ago, and we had worked on the restrooms, but we didn't quite get done with everything that we were wanting to do, and there was a sewer line that we knew had cracks, roots were getting into. It was underneath the slab. So we went in, we busted that out, replaced all the sewer lines, and actually added, while we had it open, we put new PEX lines for future use in there, and we've got to wait 30 days for that to cure before we can put the new flooring material over that. We also poured a sidewalk from the back porch area to the well house. Before we had little pavers and we had them all leveled, but the way the water was coming through there, it was washing them, making them crooked and not a safe pathway. And then the bridge project at the 2-story brick schoolhouse that we're remodeling there. Yeah, it's got.
I thought you said bridge, so I was like,
Did I say
bridge project?
Yeah, in Briggs,
Okay,
yeah.
Briggs.
And so it's, we got new windows in it. The downstairs has been framed up. We're fixing to go in and start the plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. And having said that, if we didn't have the staff that we have, like the skilled staff, the carpenter, the electrician, the plumber, and the HVAC, and so forth, we would have to go out to bid for all that, and of course the expense would be, up there a bit. But it just helps things move along a little quicker with doing some of the things that we're doing instead of having to put things out to bid. So let's see. And then we got Fort Croghan. That's still on the to-do list. We've done quite a few things on the punch list. I think we got to get with tourism and take a look at that punch list again and see what all is left. There's a few little, I think, minor things that are left, but we have that on the to-do list. We're going to be doing some carpeting in the North Annex. I have a little bit of surplus. There's some areas that may have asked for carpet prior to that. I just didn't have enough in stock, so I've got a budget for that and make sure that we've got it. But we'll take care of everybody as we can with what we have. So, And then going back to the building that we acquired, at County Road 250, we used some surplus carpet that we had in a color that's not really being used. So and luckily it matched everything in there, so we replaced the carpet in there as well. With that, that's pretty much it.
Are there any questions?
Other than just regular maintenance, a lot of work orders going on, so.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet.
Thank you. All right. 26C, report on the criminal background check form to implement the criminal background policy. So, Shirley Bullard.
Shirley Bullard, Burnett County employee. If y'all will recall, this court previously passed a security policy requiring all employees who have access to sensitive information, specifically CJIS certifications, to be background checked. Our online application portal has a background check page for the applicant to sign, authorizing us to do background checks. But this form is not always signed. It's online. And when it is signed, it's not a wet signature. Law enforcement does have additional items added to the application process. They're not included in this plea. What we're asking is that you guys get behind us to have the other departments that have employees that require background checks to sign an additional authorization so that we can have a wet signature to cover us for doing the background checks on those that we need to background. They can be signed prior to hirings, hopefully, but so long as we have this document in the file, we're covered. So we're going to start requiring it, but we need y'all to back us up.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So just as another issue, so typically this would be signed at the point of interview, or it's a good practice to sign it. That's traditionally what I've done. Have it signed if somebody comes for an interview before the selection's made, and then if they're not selected, then just shred those and just do the background check on the one employee that's authorized, that you're planning on hiring. Does that make sense? Okay. Is there any public comment on this issue? Because this is going to be an action item. So.
Did you call out the public comments on 26A?
No, I didn't. Would you like to say something on 26A?
Yeah, I just would like the record to reflect that 26A 1 through 5 and item number 7 had no attachments to the agenda, so we can't see what those items are. But on 26C, is it possible to get a line with the applicant's name and maybe a document name and a date, so that when we go back in the future, we have a document revision dates and things like that? Thank you.
Okay. So Ms. Bullard, on this particular form, it was part of the application, correct? It wasn't by itself. We're just making sure that when they come in, they're signing it for the interview as part of their application package. Okay. So that's why there's not a name on there. It's part of the on the online form. It's just part of the application. Yeah. So, anyway. All right. So on this item, entertain a motion to add this form to our to be required upon interview and used upon prior to hiring. So am I saying that right, Ms. Bullard? Okay, so we adopt this form as part of the application process to be signed every time upon interview and used upon prior to hiring someone.
And requiring a wet signature.
Correct. When they come for their interview.
I'd move for approval.
Okay,
Second?
all right, it's been moved and seconded that we.
26C.
Okay. Yes, 26C. It's been moved and seconded that we adopt this form as part of the application process to be signed upon interview and to be used prior to hire for all Burnett County employment operations, so hiring operations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, number 27, we have some acknowledgement of receipts, TCEQ notice that they provide updates on different kinds of discharges into streams and all that, and so I bring them to you. That doesn't seem that they provide us any opportunity to do anything. The Burnett County Auditors FY25 monthly financial reports, a MIS summary.
Trapper's report.
Oh, yes, the Trapper's report. TCEQ notice permit 2764A air permit renewal, and a letter from San Saba County Attorney regarding an investigation. Is there any public comment or any questions about these forms? Yes.
Claire Nybro again. On that Trapper's report, do they ever give a reason why they have to put down all those animals? Is it because of rabies, or what is it? What's the deal with that?
It's funny you should say that, because I was just telling Stephanie that I'd like to get them in here and give us a report about what all's going on or what they're trying to accomplish here.
Me too.
The pigs I get, because I'm just getting overrun all over my land with pigs, but some of the other ones I don't fully understand. So.
Coyotes as well.
Yeah.
Coyotes are really bad.
Okay.
Okay, we'll work on that.
My only question is, have you accepted the auditor's report, the certified annual financial report, CAFR?
Yes, we did that a few weeks ago. Yeah. The CAFR, right? Okay.
That's just acknowledgement.
Yes, just acknowledgement. We don't need to take any action on that. So next item is 28. Over there, please. I have to put my glasses on for this one. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action regarding contracts, agreements, or grants to be approved and or ratified. Before I go any further, I just need to check. So, Janet, do you have the 28C in your possession? That's
with me. It's in that folder.
okay. Oh, this folder here?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, so these are contracts that we're signing on behalf of JP Courts 1 through 4. There was some last minute revisions on the JP contract. The consideration for approval of agreement between Burnett County Constable Number 4, Missy Binsile, and TXLESO. It's a equipment to participate in a loan and purchase of excess Department of Defense equipment for county use. Ratify the submission of the Texas State Library and Archives Commission grant application for additional privacy pods previously submitted by grant manager Jana Teague on behalf of Mary Seaman due to the application deadline of April 28, 2025, and authorize the county judge to sign the Texas State Library and Archives Commission application certification that was required. Extension of the depository contract with the Llanos National Bank. A levy DACIMA additional services authorization. Approval of the Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP Sourcewell contract number 030421-HJHN, proposal to upgrade the Simplex 4010 fire alarm control panel and Simplex 4010 ES at the Burnett County Annex in the amount not to exceed $19,258.73. To accept, approve, and sign the agreement of a new vendor Scilogist Government, Inc. for FY25 statewide automated victim notification service maintenance, approval of the DIR-CPO 521 interpretation and translation contract solutions, approval of the planned maintenance agreement with Clifford Power in the amount not to exceed $6,594 for coverage dates of 6/1/2025 through 5/31/2026. Approval to sign the district attorney agreements required for FY25 Motor Vehicle Crime Prevention Authority program and the Heart of Texas Auto Theft Task Force for September 1st, 2023. That's 2024 through August 31st of 20. No, it's 25 through 26. Please make the note on your agenda.
This one's the current year.
Oh, the current year.
24 through 25.
25. Okay, thank you. Approval of a CPA firm and Ritz and Associate PA for tax note management assistance. So, any public comment on any of these items? Or treasurer comment? Yes. Yeah. Is that for the renewal of the deposit? Okay.
Yes. Carrie Crownover, County Treasurer. And this is just in regards to 28D. With Government Code 116.021, we do have the availability to go out for an additional 2-year extension period with our current contract. June 1st of 2023 was the beginning of our working relationship with Hill Country National Bank, or Orlando National Bank. Our local branch, Hill Country National Bank, and both Orlando National have been amazing to work with. So I am excited to continue a 2-year extension with them. The transition was seamless. We've been with the previous bank for several years, and so it was an exciting change. The customer service is phenomenal, along with the banking services that we're receiving. So just a public comment on that, that I appreciate, and I'm looking forward to another 2 years with them.
Okay. And this is the best rate? I mean, this is deposit rate that we're looking for,
Yes,
correct? Okay.
yes, yeah. They're very competitive with even what we're getting with our investment pools.
Oh.
So, yeah, I think our most recent April rates were 4.07%. So they're doing really well with those.
All right. Any other, I'll still open it up for public comment. Any other questions? Okay. So all of these are pretty straightforward contracts. I have had time to read each one of them, much to my pain on a couple of them. But we did have some last minute revisions that recommended by on the McCreary.
MVBA.
Yes, thank you. MVBA contract, but they were just semantical changes, just about the reference to JP 1 through 4, just to make it Burnett County instead of on behalf of. And so there was no substantive changes in any of these. So I'll entertain a motion to just go ahead and do them all together, if that's okay.
I'll move for approval.
Okay.
Second.
All right. It's been moved and seconded, and I'm glad I don't have to read them all over again. But it's been moved and seconded that we approve this slate of contracts and agreements and grant changes as one. And so if there's no further questions or discussion, all right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, 29. Discuss, consider, and take appropriate action concerning calling for bids and bid openings requests for proposals, qualifications, and related openings. Approval to go out for bid for County Road 410 project. Approval to go out to bid for Burnett County Jail visitation renovations. Wait, we don't need that, do we? Oh, yeah.
That's not me.
Okay. No, we've already, the jail visitation project's been approved. That jail visitation project? I've already got an architect and approval on that.
Yeah, I submitted with our bids.
Oh, it was? Okay. Anything, Chief? Okay, all right. Well then, okay, approval to go out for the Burnett County Jail visitation renovation. Approval to, sorry. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. Entertain a motion to go ahead and authorize going out to bid for these projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we go out to bid for these projects. Is there any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, the motion passes. Okay, that looks like it takes care of all of our official business. There's one item left, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
On a calendar review.
Oh, calendar. Is that on here? Oh, it's way down there at the bottom. Okay. So I was going to try to start our first workshop to address policy issues at the end of this month, but I think you're going to be out at the second meeting. So we'll start that. We'll start the workshop after Commissioners Court on the first meeting.
Budget.
Well, yeah, right. First, we're going to talk about budget policy and some of the policies around that affect our budget. We'll do that meeting first. Is that acceptable? And then, so put that on your calendar. Try to make, and then we'll take on. We'll start doing department reviews with the second workshop in May. Again, I'll publish a schedule and get that out unofficially until such time as we move forward. So, all right. Any other events coming up that anybody wants to talk about? Add to the calendar. Got through Bluebonnet Festival. Got through several other things.
We made it.
All right. Power washing party.
You want?
All right.
Yes.
All right. No other calendar issues coming up. Then now I'll take that motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Do this by general consent.
Second. Yeah, just like right.
Motion. Meeting's adjourned.
We got to sign anything?
Okay, come on.
Oh, this is probably a failure on my part. I apologize.
Oh, hi.
I'm Mary.
Oh,